Season 52, War number 12. Today we've matched up against Old Driver, and the bans are going to be Count Nefaria, Luke Cage, Spider-Man 2099, Silk, and Professor X. And my team today is the same as last war, Mr. Negative, Photon, and America Chavez. And we're going to start today on Path 5 against this America Chavez, which we will be taking with Chavez. Because she has the easiest access to knockdowns and power control for this fight. So I've done this fight with Photon before, but I did get assigned Chavez, and I do think that's the better choice for this specific node. This is a pretty big war for us, because if we can win this one, we will be top 10, and top 10 is something we've never done before, so definitely hoping for the best for this war. But yeah, my first fight against this Chavez is going to go pretty well. Yeah, I didn't activate any power back boosts, which I usually would do for Chavez, but I just didn't do it because I'm going to have to replace them for the science ones, which I think are more important for Photon for the next couple fights. Yes, Photon has 2 fights this war, and then both of them I'd prefer to have power backs if I can, or actually 3 fights this war. So yeah, this Chavez is going down relatively fast. We have all of the power control handled just by the negative zones and stuff, so Mystic Dispersion gets its potency reduced. If she decided to charge a heavy attack, which she didn't, then the potency of that would be reduced and stuff, so yeah, it went pretty well. And yeah, now we fight Negasonic Teenage Warhead on node 14 with Photon. Another fight that I've done before. Felt pretty good about this one. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, science power backs. Only using 150. I think I was going to use 2 science power backs this war, and that's like why I went for 150 instead. So yeah, we're gonna go against this Negasonic, and then we're just gonna do the same thing as normal that I do with Photon versus Tactic Defenders, which is just parry heavy until they reach their first bar, because that's the least amount of hits I can use to get them to a bar of power. And obviously I want to use as little hits as possible because I want to grant her as little power charges as possible. So it's just keep baiting and punishing her special ones, and then ideally kill her before the power gain can trigger. The debuffs are going to get purified because of Ebb and Flow knockdown, but it really doesn't matter because Photon doesn't need her debuffs. She just needs to be able to actually apply them. Like, if they get purified, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So I'm dropping back-to-back SP2 here. SP2 is here because of power backs. And yeah, Negasonic's almost already dead. She barely has a health pool, so she doesn't last very long. So at that point, we just need to bait another special, get caught on my dash back, unfortunately, but those incinerates aren't going to hit very hard, and then my SP2 here is going to kill. So normally I would be running an invul boost for Photon fights because she's not tactic, so there's a risk of me eating an SP3 against tactic defenders, but I'm not going to do that this war because I only can have 1 this war without spending 375 units, and I really don't want to spend 375 units unless it was a fight that I was like extremely worried about dying to an SP3, like just an SP3 that was completely one-shotting me. Like, I know I can eat a Negasonic SP3, so I know I can eat at least one of them, and I'd probably not die, so even though I would like to boost as properly as I possibly could, 375 units is completely absurd, so I'm not going to do that. And it's not like I didn't talk about it with my planners and stuff, like, it's fine. Photon's still good enough to where it's likely that you're not eating an SP3. So yeah, I just dropped this unblockable SP2 right into Hulk's Unstoppable, and then he dies. I didn't really say anything about that fight because Hulk doesn't benefit from any of the nodes there. He's just there to path split, and yeah, he dies. So next up we fight Gorr on node 35. Classic placement. This one usually is just there to force a Chavez, which yeah, Chavez just kind of annihilates this fight. I make this one probably a lot harder than it needs to be. I should have just gone for 2 negative zones the whole time, but I, for some reason, don't until a little bit later in the fight, where I'm just gonna eventually activate the second one, but for a while I just kind of keep 1, and it's just stupid. Like, I don't know why I didn't go for 2. 3 is too much because you want Gorr to be throwing some specials at least, because if not, then you're gonna have to get an opening by blocking, or going for risky intercepts, which Gorr is like famous, at least for me, about light intercepting you, so I'd rather not. So I feel like 2 negative zones is just the perfect amount for this fight. It's not too much and it's not too little. Power control, I should say. And then yeah, he just dies from that SP2. I think I wanted to activate Mystic Powerbacks and then just completely forgot to for that fight, so yeah, it didn't matter. But I'm gonna have one more Chavez fight where Mystic Powerbacks wouldn't even mattered. Yeah, Mystic Powerbacks were a complete waste there. So I guess I'm glad I didn't use them, because the next fight I'm not even gonna need the Powerbacks anyway, because I'm not even gonna drop an SP2 in the next Chavez fight. I'm spoiling that, sorry. We're gonna fight this Man-Thing next, and we're just doing the same thing we usually do for Mr. Negative versus Node 38, which is just drop an SP3 with the Fury, and I can trigger a bunch of Secutor charges by triggering the stun immunity, like that, because it for some reason does that. Anyway, I ate unfazed there. I don't remember if debuff immunity was active or if the cooldown on my slow was active. Either way, I'm pretty sure I thought in the moment I would be fine to evade there and just didn't realize I wasn't, but it just cost me like a little bit of my health. It's fine. Next up is Node 40 Arcade. Chavez is fine here. Like this fight's pretty much nothing. So if you know how to fight Arcade, this is not that bad. Also, yeah, that's game lag. That's not the video. That's full-on game lag. Like I just sat there for like 6 seconds, maybe more than that. I don't know. If you know how to fight Arcade, this fight's pretty easy. It's just there to like limit the amount of cosmic options you can send, but that's fine because Chavez kind of nukes Arcade anyway. It's harder here because you can't drop your SP2 because of high energy diet, but it doesn't matter because she's Chavez. She's literally the best Mystic in the game, so it doesn't matter. We drop like our first SP1 there, gain another dimension finally, and then at this point I'm like, just push Arcade to SP2s. Like I'm gonna take a bit of block damage from some of the buzzsaws, but yeah, I could also get Arcade tokens on him and poisons on myself if I bait SP1s, so just go for the SP2s and then dex the last hit and we're chilling. So yeah, we can't drop SP2s here, obviously, because of high energy diet, so it's literally just about chipping them down as fast as we can. And yeah, Chavez, even when she can't drop SP2s and the opponent has no buffs, still doesn't take like an absurd amount of time to kill things. So yeah, this fight is almost over. He throws another SP1 there, it's not a big deal. Dex it just like that, and then I'm going to go for an SP1, which I believe kills him. And yeah, that's Arcade, so I'm pretty sure like Hulkling could still do that fight. We just didn't send one because I knew I could do it with Chavez. Anyway, next up we fight Wiccan on node 45 with Photon. So another one where I'm like, yeah, invul boost would probably be good here, but I can't use one because I only have one. And I guess like if it lined up right, I could have used an invul and it would have carried on to the Enchantress boss, but I needed a Wags on the Enchantress boss first, and my Wags person was waiting for this Wiccan to go down, so it would have been a timing issue I didn't feel like having to deal with, I should say. I was taking all of these fights at work except for the boss, which I took right after I got off the clock, and yeah, I just needed to get my fights done in the moment while I was on break, so I didn't even feel like waiting for the opportunity for my Wags guy to be able to move like instantly. I just reboosted for the boss. I'm talking about absolutely nothing related to the fight because there's like nothing to talk about. Wiccan just dies because Photon's good. So anyway, there's that fight. Obviously had Odins. I have a lot of people always comment, how did you get Odins without an Odin on your team? If another alliance member places them on the node, then you get them with whatever attacker enters the fight next. So yeah, I had a Wags pre-fight and an Odin pre-fight coming from another alliance member. So anyway, next up is the Enchantress boss. And this is a very special, I guess you could say, fight for me, because this is my last fight of the season. It's also the only fight I've died to this season, which was last war. So I'm going to finish my season by rematching the fight that stole my Deathless season. Same rank, 7-star rank 3. And to top it all off, I think Enchantress is the hardest defender this tactic, and I fought her. This is the 10th Enchantress I fought this season, so I wish I could have soloed all of them to go 10 out of 10 versus Enchantress. Obviously, I'm only going to be able to go 9 out of 10, but still, I'm really proud of that, and if I can solo this fight, I'm just going to be really happy. So, immediately disaster strikes, because, again, another unfazed error where I thought I had a safe evade because slow, but it fell off like right when I charged heavy. So immediately 2 hits of my indestructible boost are gone, and I'm already at 65% health and she's at full health. So I'm pretty sure at that exact moment I was like, I'm dead. Like, the fight's barely started and I'm dead. What the hell am I gonna do to be able to save this fight? I didn't know. I genuinely was like, I can eat 1 SP3 and after that I'm probably dead. So we're gonna go 8 for 10 versus Enchantress instead of 9 or 10. 9 out of 10. But anyway, I eat the SP3. Obviously does no damage to me because I had 1 hit on the invul left. Gonna get the charm debuff on me. And again, at this point, I can't bait any more SP3s. I might be able to tank 1 of them, but I'm not sure. So, like, I'm pretty sure in the moment, I just thought I was dead. Like, I didn't know what to do to salvage the fight. I'm gonna bait her SP1, and she's gonna have the power gain coming back soon, and then I'm gonna eat more damage reflect, because her power gain, I can reduce it, but I can't fully prevent it, so I'm gonna go for a heavy attack here. It's gonna knock her down, remove some of her spells, and then I need to drop an SP2, but she drops an SP2 into my block, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're joking. So this SP2 I'm dropping here doesn't place any degens except for 1. So I'm actually doing fine though. Like, her health is getting lower, and she gave me easy spells to remove. I can remove all of them just by punching the heavy like that. If I can get to another SP2, drop it with no spells active, I might be able to win. So I was feeling like, okay, this might work. She has low power charges at the moment, so just remove the spells and I'll be fine. Now she drops another SP1. I take damage reflect again, of course, but we're still okay. I'm gonna go for the evade there. Luckily it doesn't miss. Get an intercept, which is really good because she wouldn't let me intercept her last war. That was like one of the main reasons I died. I knock her down to remove the purple spells, and I'm like, wait, did I just do it? Did I just solo her after losing 2 hits of my invul right at the start of the fight? And I did. So there we go. I got the Enchantress solo, and it's a very satisfying way to end the season anyway. So I'm still pissed off that I lost my Deathless season because I just was stupid against her the last war, but at least that was a very satisfying way to end it. So normally I'd show you the score of the war at the end of the video, but as of the time of recording this, the war is still going, except for the fact that Old Driver has basically already finished their map and are ahead of us on deaths, so I'm pretty sure the war is lost already. If anything magical happens, I'll put it in the comments, but just let it be known that Vishanti probably just lost this war and went 7-5. Unfortunate end of the season. It means we're only going to be top 20 instead of top 10. But at the end of the day, the goal was always top 20, not top 10. And we got the goal. So it's a success. It's a successful season, even though it didn't end exactly how we had hoped. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll do a community post on some of the awards I won from the season and just a final standings of it, probably tomorrow or Wednesday. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.